Hey, welcome back to the shop again. What do we got going on this week? Well, it's a rainy Tuesday afternoon, and 2 days ago, you folks, or some of you folks at least, may remember this bike from last winter. I did a full engine rebuild on this machine and changed the signal lights, did a few other odds and ends. Anyway, the chap who owns it, he's recently got it ready for the road. He could not get it registered as antique, so we had to go through the rigmarole of getting a motor vehicle inspection on it. Anyway, that's good for 2 years. Maybe in 2 years he'll have a car and then he can get the bike registered as antique, but it doesn't really matter one way or the other. It's legal for the road, so he's brought it back over for me to do a shakedown on it and get it out on the road, make sure it's working like it should. Otherwise, see what falls off of it, that sort of thing. Anyway, like I said, it's a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but yeah, it's raining. A good time to be out here in the shop working on things. There was one thing I wanted to put on this bike when I was working on it, but I turned it over to him without it, and that was a nice new center stand spring to keep the center stand in place. The old thing that was on there, I don't know what that's off of. I don't know if it was from a motorcycle or somebody's bed or what the hell. Anyway, it did the trick. It did hold the stand up in place, but not very snugly. If you hit a bump, I'm sure that would have come down and struck the road before coming back up again. Anyway, it's time to get this out on the road, do some road tests on it, see how she's running. I don't think I'm going to run into any problems, but you never can tell. Like I said, I don't trust electronic ignitions, and that's what this has in it. They're kind of like weed whackers. If you get a good one, they last forever. If you get a bad one, there's nothing you can do but replace them. Anyway, I will let you know how the road test comes out on this. It did have a little bit of a leak right here that was puddles on the fin. I'm not sure if that was oil running out of the stud here or rode along the gasket. Either way, that's an easy fix. I got no big deal. The clutch was a little bit out of adjustment. It was trying to pull the bike along when you had the clutch in. So anyway, I've got that sorted out. That took about 5 minutes just to get in there and adjust that the correct way so that the clutch will release all the way. There was a bad bulb in the right front signal light here. You could see it every now and then the bulb would stop working, but when you tapped on the bulb it would start working again. But I noticed that when I tapped on it, you could see a little blue arc inside the bulb where the filament connects to the post. So the filament was broken off the post. Anyway, I put a nice new bulb in there, and it's working just fine now. So yeah, it's just a matter of, what else was it? It's telling me that this filter had a leak on it, so I replaced that one, put a new one on. So yeah, this is waiting for maybe tomorrow, be the nice next day. Meanwhile, like I said, it's raining out, so I was having some issues with the ergonomics and the riding position on this particular Norton. I had this set of handlebars on the bike. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with those bars. I mean, they're nice little bars. I like that width, that 29.5 inches seems to be just right for me. But on this bike, I found that I was reaching too far ahead, and in order to be comfortable, I had to sit a little bit further up on the seat, out of that nice soft ass groove that's in it, and up on the harder part here. And I mean, I've been on 9-hour drives with the bike, and I managed to survive without feeling like I got my ass whipped or something. But I decided to do something about it after I checked the handlebars, because the handlebars on old Bucephalus here, they have a 6-inch pullback from from the end to end to the face of the bar, right? 6 inches back. So the other ones that I had on this bike, they only had a 4-inch pullback. They had the same rise. But this set of bars has about a 3/4 inch higher rise, and it has a 6.5 inch pullback. So I think this is going to be quite comfortable to drive now, because just sitting on it here in the shop, my bum is in the ass groove on that seat, and it seems to be a lot more comfortable. Plus, that's an original 1969 type seat on this bike, where the seat on the other bike, never mind that cover, that's just sitting on there because I don't have any better place to sit it. But anyway, that seat's a little bit thicker because it's from the later 750s. But yeah, this one here, it should be comfortable now. Like I said, the seating position should be a little bit more ergonomic than before. So, hey, this is what you do on a rainy Tuesday afternoon after you've finished your renovation work in the house for the day. All right, let's see what happens when we get that BSA on the road. I'll let you know. Okay, now this bike here, it's about, I think exactly 2 weeks after the first part of the video that I made. So, not 2 weeks, 1 week, sorry about that. Yeah, it was a week ago Tuesday, and this is another Tuesday. So, anyway, I've had the bike out on the road a lot. I've spent a lot of time driving it, just up and down past the house till I get more confident in it and that sort of thing. But I did notice right away that it was definitely leaking from up top here on the valve cover. It turned out it was the little central bolt right in the middle of everything. It was blowing oil out past that little bolt there, and it was running down the front of the cover and then blowing back over everything. And when you leaned the bike over, all the oil would pour out from this central region of the head and come out all over the fins here and there and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, after the first couple of times I had it out, I got it up on the lift, removed the gas tank, removed the cover, replaced the gasket underneath, of course, because when I removed the cover, the gasket tore. Happens all the time. So it's got a new gasket under there, and I sealed up under the that little bolt in the middle, way up in there, with some fiber washers and a little bit of extra 3-bond to make sure it didn't leak anymore. Anyway, I've had the bike out, like I said, a lot since then, and there's no signs of any further leakage anywhere. Actually, the bike's been parked here for about 4 hours, and there's nothing on the floor underneath it except the stains from the AJS. Because that one leaks. Yeah. Oh, what can I say about it? The signal lights. That's a funny little story. These were from an old kit that was probably from, I'm guessing, the early 70s or something. And I remember this one wasn't working when I installed it, and I had to change that bulb. Then, like I was mentioning in the earlier part of this video, I had to change this bulb here. A few days later, this one stopped working, so that bulb had turned black, so I had to change that one out. And this is the only bulb out of that whole kit that hasn't burned out yet. So maybe that one will be good. You know, 1 out of 4 ain't bad when you're dealing with, you know, 50 or 60-year-old light bulbs, I suppose. But anyhow, like I said, I got the new mirrors on there and all that stuff. These new instruments that Scott bought for his son Alex, they actually do work. They just don't work right. Like when you are going about 40 miles an hour, which around here is like 60 kilometers an hour, the needle's only pointing at 30. So it's definitely pessimistic. You're going a lot faster than the needle says. So when you're doing about 42, 45 or so, you're doing about 70 kilometers an hour. So you kind of gotta take your speed with a grain of salt. And I know the new poles on this road, if I count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004 between the poles, then I'm doing 70 kilometers an hour or about 43 miles an hour. So anyway, that's something Alex is going to have to get used to unless he just buys another set of instruments that work a little better. But the tach, like I say, that also works. But it doesn't seem to go up where it should. Like when you're revving the engine up between shifts, I've put a little black mark on there so that it doesn't rev it up too high. But I figure that feels like about 3,500 RPM to me. And he's, like I said, he's breaking in this bike. You don't want to rev it up too high. Be a little bit gentle with it, especially till it gets about 500 miles on it. And let me see. Everything else works the way it's supposed to work. The spark plugs, they're burning a nice coffee and cream color, a really good color. What else? Anything else? I don't think I had to do anything besides where I mentioned having to adjust the clutch, and that's working perfectly. But anyway, yeah, the bike runs really nice. The brakes work well. The engine is strong. And, you know, it's got that BSA rumble to it as you're going along. And so I do believe this bike is ready to go home. Like I say, Alex is a novice rider. He recently got his license, and I don't want him to have a bike that is unreliable. So this is as reliable as I can make an old BSA. Even the ignition system, which I don't like electronic ignitions. I've said that before and I'll say it again till the day I die, but this one's working right. Like I had it out today, I think I put about 20 miles on it, so everything got good and warm and everything was working the way it's supposed to work. No problems anywhere. Let's see. The oil light does come on at idle, but that's quite normal for these bikes. In fact, I don't think I've ever ridden a BSA with an oil light on it to the point where it was warmed up that warm that the oil was hot enough to do it. But most of the bikes I've ridden just don't have an oil light on them at all. Sometimes I think it's more of a pain in the neck than anything. And other times, like I had a Triumph that curled the crankshaft seal. Curled it completely outward, so I'm glad I had an oil light on that one because I wouldn't have known that that seal had gone unless the oil light came on and told me so. So anyway, she's ready to go home, so I'm going to send Scott a little email or give him a jangle or something, and those fellas can come out and pick it up anytime they want. I really hope they enjoy it. So if you enjoyed this little video, please excuse me, click like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Be good to each other. We'll see what I've got going on next time.